Look at these solar panels. They ain't but 320 watts between all of them, maximum. Maximum, 320 watts, that's with a hot sun. Look at this, there is no shadow. I don't make a shadow. That's a 7,500 pound motor running, and it's running a pump that weighs 375 pounds with a 4-inch intake and a 4-inch outtake with a 10-foot head on it, pumping 9 gallons a minute. And I offer $10,000 to anybody in the world to bring me a conventional motor, hook it to these solar panels, and let's see you run that motor and run that pump water up a 10-foot head, and I'll give you $10,000. But ain't one of these cowards or one of these liars nowhere on earth who will bet me $10,000 that my motor won't do it. So the people of the world, God told me y'all would understand this. Look at these solar panels. Nowhere in Mobile, Alabama. This is in Mobile, Alabama. I've chosen it here rather than going to Phoenix to show you that I can make solar panels practical. Solar panels produce voltage well, but they're notorious. They don't produce current. If you pull current from this system, its voltage will fall to zero, like that. To give you an idea, this motor right here comes from Grainger. It's called Teal. It's a pump, positive displacement pump, runs off 12 volts. You know how much amps it draws? 10 amps. Right now, these are hooked in parallel with 88 volts, but they'd only put out 3.5 amps. If you hook this motor to these solar panels, this voltage will fall to zero. Now, any of the liars out there who are engineers and don't believe it, go and buy this motor from Grainger, hook it to these. They'll only put out 320 watts with maximum sun when you cannot even see a shadow. And make sure they can see there is no shadow for me. And yet it's running the 7,500 pound motor and pumping 9 gallons per minute up a 10-foot head. It shows that what all these scientists have said on the oscilloscope is true. And to the lay people out there that don't understand when these people tell you it don't work, God told me y'all would understand this. I've already seen it on women and on men when they've seen it. Ralston, would you come here a minute, please?
Take a picture of the sky.
This is Ralston Reynolds. Here in Mobile, he's known me, he's been behind me for many years. Now, Ralston, you tell him how hard it is to turn that motor by hand and try to turn that pump. Tell him how hard it is.
Well, when the motor was not running, and I grabbed hold of the shaft of the motor and tried to turn it, and in about a minute of trying, I made it turn maybe a ½ an inch at all, if at all.
Okay, now that tells you these solar panels should not even run this motor if it's that hard. If it's that hard to turn, would you agree, Ralston? Should not even.
Yeah, the solar panels just don't produce any power in the amperage side. And of course the amperage and the current's the same thing.
Now the solar panels are getting sun on them now. Now it'll put out more power. The motor speeds up. You can hear the click that's going on it. Tell it's getting faster, but you expect it to. But you don't expect it to when the sun is covered up so much you don't even make a shadow, and yet it keeps right on running. Okay, you can go back, and I sure appreciate it.
Okay.
Now what I'm telling the people of the world, this technology is ready to turn oceans into fresh water. Every caring person in California who cares about water, the fight over the Colorado River. We'll get another cloud, I'm certain, in a few minutes. And you'll see, it'll keep right on running. It shows it'll run from sun up to sundown. I'm certain I can make it run in the rain. This machine is so efficient, it just uses voltage. Now solar panels produce voltage greatly, but they don't produce current. Well, I've always said my motors run off of voltage, they don't run off of current. And let me show you a graph. This is what the so-called experts tell you. This is out of a Grainger catalog. I've blown it up. Look at their motors from a 10 horsepower to a 250 horsepower. Watch the current, full load amps, 24 amps on a 10 horsepower motor. 250 horsepower motor is 274 amps. That's a hellacious amount of current. Heat in a motor is the current squared times the resistance. Now you square 274, you have a tremendous heat loss. My motors run off of milliamps. I'm interested in voltage. I have an amp meter in the line that he's going to shoot and show you. Now, a stupid guy at the U.S. Patent Office made a statement when all the engineers and physicists, nuclear physicists who had endorsed my work, signed affidavits, over 40 of them, sent it to the U.S. Patent Office. He said, well, why can't you use a simple amp meter? That's all I can read, and that's all I want. Well, for the people who are idiots like that, blind idiots, I got an amp meter in the line, and it runs from 0 to negative. Right now, it's running from 0 to negative. For idiots. You hear the anger in me, you're damn right I'm angered. Because they have fought against the human race. Now, for all the lay people out there who are not engineers, this is something I've given for y'all. Y'all will know that this works, because there'll be another cloud over here. I'm sure God will bring one, because he told me to do this. And I don't care if the power brokers believe it or not. My life is for humanity. But y'all look at this, see what it's doing, and I'm going to get him to walk inside and shoot and see this amp meter and see it running from 0 to negative. He'll go in the back, so he'll show you water is still shooting out of that pump, just like it was before. And y'all can clearly see, for the lay people, this is easy to read. All you got to do is count from 1 to 10. And you can clearly see that's from 0 to minus, which means the machine is pushing power back into this. And if I put a meter over this capacitor in line, it'll show it to you. It'll show you over 1,000 volts. Yet we only got 88 volts going into it. All right, well, this is a motor weighing 7,500 pounds. This flywheel weighs 450 pounds. It's attached to that shaft. Now, those lines are 4-inch lines, both on the intake and the outtake. It's all full of water. It goes up a 10-foot head. You can see how high that is. It's a good 10 feet. And that water rushes out of it. When you'll see with the velocity it comes out, it spatters when it comes out with such a velocity. Now, that should not be occurring. Just by that graph that you see on the Granger tells you, they show you a motor that's drawing 274 amps that weighs 1,200 pounds. This motor weighs 7,500 pounds. That's 5 times that. Well, this motor then ought to be drawing, just to run with no load on it, ought to be drawing 274 amps, because it should be drawing 5 times of what they do. Because they show you from a 10 horsepower to a 250 horsepower motor, as you make it bigger and bigger, it draws more current and it draws more wattage. That's their numbers, not my numbers. I showed them to you. This machine does what all the scientists had said already. All right, for anybody out there who honestly believes there might be something hidden inside of that system, to show you that's not true, you got 2 wires that he's already covered a bunch of times coming from those solar panels coming to this motor. Now watch how quick this motor will stop when I disconnect this. I don't need to take both of them loose, I just take one of them loose. Look at it slowing down immediately. And it'll totally stop. Now we can do something else. We can take these wires loose. This is the 2 wires from the solar panels, this one and that one. Now these wires are hooked in, the positive wires feed this energy back into this positive wire. That's why you see this meter go negative. This is the negative wire. Now if I had something hidden in here like batteries, when I make this circuit, that thing should take off. It won't take off, and if I even try to spin this thing by hand and give it some help, it still won't spin off. Now you saw a spark because I generated electricity when I spun it by hand. But see, it's gone as soon as I short it out. I gave it to it by spinning it because it's a generator. That's why you saw that high voltage. Now watch when I hook this back up to the solar panels. I'll take this wire loose, and I got it where it hooks across here, and then I snap this wire onto both of them. I take this wire, and immediately that thing starts running. Why? Because we're hooked to the solar panels. There's nothing hidden in here. I haven't given my life. 40 scientists did not sign affidavits and put their reputation on the line because they thought there was something hidden in the machine when they checked it with an oscilloscope, the most accurate measuring device in the world. I'm talking about nuclear physicists, chemists, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers. They all swore it would change the earth. God has told me, you the people will know these solar panels will do the same. I hope that does it for y'all. Of any significance at all. You know, you can shoot me and see it. Y'all excuse me, but I'm hot as I can be. I don't see no shadow. What I call a shadow. Yet this thing is still running. And to the people of the world, I've done this for y'all. And anybody who cares about fresh water for the people of the earth. With this same pump, you can take salt water and convert it into fresh water. If you put the sunshine in, you put all these solar panels in series, this machine will be going tremendously faster. Right now I've got them in parallel. Every panel is in parallel. So it's got 88 volts. Yet when I put a voltmeter on it, it shows anywhere from 80 volts to 250 to 300 volts. Now the solar panels can't be producing that. The most they can produce the way they're set up is 88 volts because they're all in parallel. Every panel is in parallel with the other one. That's 88 volts. Now y'all don't know the question I'm going to ask, but I want you to answer very fast and very truthfully. Did y'all see me put these solar panels all in parallel or not? Quick, did you?
Right, oh yeah, yeah we have.
Okay, these solar panels are all in parallel. The most voltage you should see across this system is 88 volts. Now you will see it go across this capacitor here. You will see it go up over 200 volts. That's the same thing that the scientists saw on the oscilloscope, the most accurate measuring device in the world. I'm not doing this for the stupid scientists out there who didn't come and get behind this. I'm doing this for the people of the world. God told me you, the people, would understand it. I'd like you to come shoot this voltmeter for me, Ed. But I guarantee you, you see it go, you see 80 volts, you see me down to 60 volts, you see it go over 200 volts. What do you see doing?
Yeah, it's all over.
Tilt it down just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, it's going well over 100 and down to 73.
What's the highest you see?
152, I think is the highest.
All right, and the sun's coming out now, and the voltage will go up. You see it, the lowest will rise also.
Right, the low point has really risen. It's like 77 to over 100.
Yeah, but see, that 100 comes from this back spike. It's not coming from the solar panels. They're all in parallel. Y'all saw me put them in parallel.
We got 235 on the high side now.
Yeah, well, how come, let Ralston call it.
310 now.
310, that's what I expect.
315.
Yeah.
345.
Consistently going over 3 now. 310. 353.
All right, now you the people, I want you to use your brain because God told me you would understand this. We're in the shade right now, and that meter's still running. The machine is still running, it's still pumping water, and it will do it for you all over the earth. It means it'll operate your home right here in Mobile using this motor. These solar panels have that ability. If all the motors that went in your washer, your dryer, your air conditioner is built the way I say, it will run your home, it'll run cars, it'll run ships, it'll run planes, it'll turn salt water into fresh water. Look at the amp meter, it's running from 0 to negative. Look at what the meter here shows you on the voltage. These panels cannot produce but 88 voltage. And I'll show you, before we stop it, I'll disconnect this and we'll check the voltages across here, and I guarantee you it'll be around 88 volts is what you'll see. It could be a little bit less than that based on how the sun is. But like I said, even when it's shady, the voltage will be up, but the current capacity goes way down on a solar panel. When it shades out, your voltage is still there, but your current capacity is way down. So if you pull much current, the voltage on a solar panel will go to zero. That's why you don't see it run stuff. You don't see it run anything in Mobile. Maybe on the interstate, you see a big panel, solar panel, and a little digital light that doesn't draw any power. And they got a battery there with it. There ain't no batteries in this system. This is what God has given. Just like He gave this technology, this energy coming down, hitting these solar panels, and I'm going to design a new solar panels. These things are only 15%. I guarantee you I'm going to design a solar panel to be 80% efficient. You mark it down. I'll make one. 15% ain't spit. And it'll be real practical. But the world should come and get behind this with all your vigor. The power brokers have fought me tooth and nail. I'm running this on solar panels because God spoke to me several weeks ago and told me to do it. Well, it worked just like God indicated to me, because I've seen people come, and I know the public, when you're seeing this, you're amazed. You're amazed right now because I've seen it on women's face. I've seen it on men's face. There ain't no shadow. Right now, you don't see no shadow on me. I don't see a bit of a shadow. I don't see any on Ralston over there, and I don't see any on you. But that machine is still running. All right, well, they can tell this a cloud because, you know, it's obvious. There ain't no shadow around here. The people's got that much of a brain. I know they do. Shoot me. Shoot the ground. There ain't no shadow. There ain't no shadow on him. It ain't no shadow on you. Now, I know the people because God has told me. They understand this. They know when they walk out in the sun, they make a shadow. They know when there isn't no sun, they don't make a shadow. There is no sun on this. It is greatly diffused. The amount of energy these solar panels are hitting. Their probably capability right now is about 10 watts. Is what these things already probably can produce right now. Now, anybody who knows anything about solar panels, they'll tell you I'm right. Now, any liar out there will say, no, it produces the same. Well, it don't. The current capacity goes way down to zilts. That's why they don't run conventional motors and conventional loads. Yet it runs a 7,500 pound machine and a pump that weighs 375 pounds with a 10-foot head on it. Y'all will know that this works, and it'll change y'all's earth in a very beneficial way. And every human being out there should be behind this. And I had a gentleman from South Africa who saw this run on solar panels, a small machine running a propeller in Phoenix. And he was from the Department of Energy of South Africa. And he was on his knees looking at it. And I saw tears running down his face, and I asked him, was he okay? And he told me, he said, excuse me. He said, I was thinking about women I've seen walking with a flat bucket on their head, 4 hours in one direction and 4 hours back every day just to get fresh water to keep their children from dying of thirst. And they do it every day, and then they do a full day's work. And he wrote a letter saying it was a crime against humanity for the people of the earth to know about this technology and not be behind it. And I hope what he's written echoes in your heart and your mind today and makes you want to get up and do something. You cannot trust these politicians. They're all tied to the oil industry. They don't give a crap about the people in Egypt or Israel or anywhere else. It's all about oil. It don't take any brains to know that. They're raising the prices constantly at a higher and higher rate. You, the people, should stand up and fight for this. Your forefathers in the Declaration of Independence told you not only do you have the right, but you have a moral obligation to stand up and fight for your children of the future. If you don't, you're not receiving justice. This technology, if the power brokers of the world had been behind it, you'd have had it 20 years ago when more than 40 scientists screamed to the world for y'all to get behind it. God has told me that through these solar panels, you the people will, and that's why I'm doing this. Now y'all should call Joe Noffey, area code 205-835-9022. On this very day, science is doing some of my life's work nationwide in the U.S. This very day, twice today, and once tomorrow of my fight. And they say it's been my lifelong fight for you, the world. They know that this works. They haven't even seen this. I hope they'll do an update. Y'all should call them and tell them to put this up so that the world can see it, even on their show. This will be up on Google. Hopefully, Ed's going to be able to get it up for me tonight on Google, and y'all all be seeing it by tomorrow. On the 4th and 5th, this is being done on Science News. Now the sun just came back out, and you can hear the click get faster as that happens. This is all in parallel. Now at this point, if we had all of these in series, this motor would be going tremendously faster. Now you can fix these with an automatic changer based on voltage that'll automatically change whenever the sun comes out. It'll go from parallel to series, making the motor pick up speed and pumping your load even faster. Let's say you had big motors like this on the Pacific Ocean where that you really need fresh water, and they're fighting all about the Colorado, which is the most litigated river in the world today, for trying to get fresh water. You know how much water's in the Pacific Ocean? Something like 75–80% of the earth is covered with salt water. You can convert it into fresh water. If you take pumps, same thing we have on this motor, and you push it through a shift, it'll pull the salt out of it and you'll have fresh water. The cost of energy prohibits them from doing that. The cost of fresh water is too high that way. I'm showing you can do it with solar panels. Think about what I'm showing you. I've given my life for the human race. And I hope y'all will do what God has told me and implied to me that y'all are going to do. Because of these solar panels, let it speak for me. Let it speak for all the scientists who've spoken in the past 20 years ago for y'all to get behind it. I want these solar panels, and I'm going to quit talking and let Ed just shoot it. And that machine, and the water, and the amp meter. And let all this soak in onto you. All you got to do is stand up, and you'll have the machine. Thank you.